Hi, let's extend our Hello World example that we developed in the previous session. We'll create certain UI components like label, button, and Sencha and display Hello World in them. I'm going to continue using Visual Studio where have a project and a touch folder inside which all your code, JS files and the CSS files of Sencha library are copied, and have an index.html page where we have included the Sencha touch CSS file and the Sencha-touch of an all.js file. And let's begin coding by typing the standard ext.application, which is a starting point of any Sencha application. Let's type in our launch method and have a function over there. All set. Now let's create a label object and display hello world in it and render it to the screen. I'm going to use ext.create ext.label, specify the properties of the label. Let's specify the HTML content, which is going to be hello world, and I want to render it to full screen. Give it full screen : true. What we have done here is we've used ext.create, which is used to create an instance of the class that you specified in a string. Here you have the label class present in your ext namespace. This line creates an object of label with the HTML content hello world and renders it to the full screen. Let's run this. Right click, view in browser. There you go, hello world label. Let's try to modify it a little bit with some height and width properties. Want to go height as say 40, width 200, and let's run this. View in browser. Much better. Say you want to now create a button and display hello world in it. Let's come on this label portion. The same approach, ext.create, give the name of the button class, which is ext.button, and few properties of this button class where you specify the text, say hello world, and you want it to be rendered full screen. ext.create, you create a button object and render it to the screen. Let's run this. View in browser. There we go. Occupies a complete screen. Let's modify it. Let's specify some height and width. 40. Width, let's say 200. Let me run this. There you go. You have this button here. Now what I want to do is when you tap this button, want to capture the tap event and handle it. Let's register a listener for the tap event. A button has a tap event where you register a function that will be called when you tap the button. Let me quickly indent this, and I'm going to type in hello world. So you have the listeners property where you can list all the listeners for the events that you're interested in capturing. So you have an event called tap, which is registered to a function. When you tap the button, it's going to alert hello world. Let's run this. Tap this, hello world. Let's wrap up this session by making our button a bit colorful. Go to type UI : specify a predefined style. Let's call it confirm. UI is a simple property in a button class which takes in certain predefined styles. We'll use a predefined style called confirm. When you run this, you get a pretty decent looking button now. Tap it. Okay.